I did it. I'm live. Yay. Okay. I need to figure out how to, excuse me, put this link on my Tumblr. There it is. Copy it. And hop over to Tumblr real quick. Sorry, this took a little longer for me to figure out. Um, I feel like YouTube has changed some things since the last time I went live. So, and I only have like 52 tumblers, so just bear with me. Okay. Let me actually go to where I had that post. Okay. I'm doing this. This is happening. Yay. Okay. So I don't really know how else to start this, I guess. Um, it's Memorial Day. Hopefully everyone is having a safe and fun holiday. I keep forgetting that I should like look at the camera because I keep wanting to look at myself, but that's kind of weird, but it's going to be fine. Um, anyway, I'm a little frizzy. I don't have a lot of makeup on because I am planning on going to the gym after this. I have to go to the gym, you guys. I go to, I think, like 3 weeks from today, 4 weeks from today is the Austin concert. And I leave like 3 weeks from Wednesday for Texas. So, your girl needs to get in the gym. But I'm not going to ramble too long. Um, I don't think I'm getting any phone calls. I can't promise the cat won't walk by the camera. I am expecting some deliveries today, so I can't promise the doorbell won't ring and scare the crap out of me, but we'll see what happens. So let me get my questions. I did put them into hi Kay, I see you over there. That's exciting. I did like type out all of the questions and put them into a random generator. I ended up with 29, which is pretty exciting. Some of them are just random questions, which is kind of cool. But anyway, the first one is talk a little bit about some projects you're working on. Um, so I'm sure some of you have seen more so on my 21 Pilots blog because that's where I'm most active right now, that I have a tornado fic in progress, and that is like a nerdy Tyler, I guess, kind of more like scientist Tyler, which I'm really excited to work on. I have the first few parts going, but it just got to the part where I've introduced Tyler into the story. Um, kind of a little love triangle a little bit that will be going on, some relationship drama along with the science, but I love science. I love storms. So I'm super excited for all of that. I'm working on the next book for The Last Bandito. Hi, Sav. Thanks for coming to my live stream, guys. Um, but yeah, so I'm working on the next book for The Last Bandito. And um, I'll go ahead and tell you, I don't think I've actually full on announced it on Tumblr, but it will be called The Last Bandito Vulture Generation. So it has a title, it has a graphic that I might change a little bit, but I just finished the first part of that and I'm super excited about where it's all going. Um, as far as as far as um Marvel, I plan to finish the American Initiative and throw in some one shots there. And the American Initiative is actually going to have more than one book. I have a book planned basically for each Avengers movie, with some other things thrown in there. So that will be fun. Although I would like to do like more real person fix with that too. Ashley and I did, I should clarify, there's New Jersey Ashley, and then there's my roommate Ashley, and the one that I'm talking about is New Jersey Ashley. Her and I collabed on a Chris Evans, Chris Pratt series called Yours Truly, which is on the Whiskey Cola Tumblr. It's completed, it's on my master list. So I'd like to do something like that again. I think that would be fun. And then for my supernatural blog, I want to kind of finish things that I have going on. I have one challenge bingo that have 2 fics coming out for this week, which is like a miracle. And then I want to finish The Division, finish Blank Space, maybe finish True Love. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. But I don't know if I'm ready to like call that one done. I'm if you watch my if you watch because we're live streaming. Anyway, if you follow my Supernatural blog, if you've followed me from the beginning, you know I have this huge fluffy Dean Reader series that has just gone on forever, and it's probably time for it to wrap up, but I don't know if I'm ready for it to. Um, yeah. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now. So that took way too long to answer that question, I guess. But question number 2 is, what is my biggest source of inspiration for one shots? Um, Requests are probably number 1. And then number 2, I have 2 different writing boards on Pinterest. I have one of prompts that I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, everybody should see these. And then I have another one. Um, well, these are boards that I pull from for one shots. I also have boards for different stories, but that's private that I kind of hoard prompts that I don't like sharing on there. I get a lot of song inspiration, as I'm sure you've been able to tell at this point. Some of it is just random ideas, really. Um, but yeah, that's where all my inspiration for one shots comes from. Number 3, most rewarding part of writing fanfic. Um, I think just kind of the escape, that writing gives, honestly. It's taking this thing that you love and this other thing that you love or that I love and putting them together, and I don't have to think about school, I don't have to think about work, I don't have to think about people and their BS. I can just write and get lost in the story and create something not only that I wanna read, but that fortunately sometimes other people wanna read, and that's really exciting. Um, and I think that's the best part of writing anything for me, whether it's fan fiction or original fiction. But yeah. Okay, question number 4 is one of these random questions. This was actually from roommate Ashley. She said, would you rather only be able to use a fork and never a spoon, or only a spoon and never a fork? I really enjoy eating cereal and oatmeal and soup. So I'm going to say a spoon and never a fork because I feel like I could take that spoon like with the other end and like stab things and make it forky, I guess. Is a spork an option? Because that's the best of both worlds, right? Number 5, if you woke up one morning and everyone in the world disappeared except you, what would be the first things you would do? Probably panic for starters. I the person who asked this doesn't know this, but I used to have night terrors when I was little that I would wake up and that I thought everybody was gone. Like the house would just be so quiet and I would be so deep in sleep and then I would wake up and I would think that everybody was gone. And I would panic and cry and scream. And so probably my reaction would be similar to that now. Um, but I'm also the kind of person like I have to freak out and then I can make a plan and execute it. So I'd probably panic and then I'd be like, okay, here's what we're going to do and move on. Okay, let's see. Another writing question for number 6. What is your writing process like? My writing process is kind of weird. More often than not, I just do it, honestly. Um, I don't really outline super often. And if I do, it's like, how many chapters do I want? And I'll like number 1 through 15 and do one sentence that would be like a basic synopsis. You know, like when you turn on the TV and you're watching episodes of something and it has like the one sentence, like, Penny slips in the bathtub and Sheldon has to take her to the hospital. That is an episode of Big Bang Theory. That's hilarious, by the way. I do recommend it. But like stuff like that. And sometimes that's a struggle because um, I get to that chapter and I'm like, okay, but what else am I going to do with it? Like sometimes I don't give myself enough of a foundation to go on, but I kind of figure it out. Um, Yeah, I make lots of notes before bigger series like The Last Bandito. I have notes for Vulture Generation. I have notes for The Division. I have notes for The American Initiative. So, um, notes help me a lot because I tend to think like later in the story and picture scenes. And sometimes if I have a scene for later in a story, I'll just go ahead and something like weird. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and like write out that scene and then figure out how to get from A to B. But honestly, more often than not, I just kind of write it. Like with The Last Bandito, I had notes, I had some character backgrounds, but I didn't have an outline and I didn't know ultimately where the story was going to end. And I actually need to go back and like on the master list page where it has the synopsis, I need to change it because some of it that I had in that synopsis is not actually part of the first book. So that can happen, but what are you going to do? The hardest part of writing fanfic is not sharing it with everybody, because I get proud of what I write and I want everybody to read it, but sometimes it's really hard for me to be like, "So I write fan fiction, just so you know." It's just weird. People it's got a bad stigma, around it, I think, and so keeping it a secret on, like I don't wanna keep it a secret, but also trying to keep it a secret. Like, if I mention to someone like, "Oh, yeah, I'm doing a live stream on my blog," and they're like, "You have a blog? I didn't know. I wanna read it." And I'm like, no, I don't think that's gonna happen, but thanks." So, yeah. Um, would you rather zombies or werewolves be real? Oh, that is a real question. Um, oh, I didn't think this would be this difficult to, like, answer this question. I oh, mm, I guess werewolves because based on what I've seen from zombie movies and read in books and comics and stuff, that zombie disease spreads really quickly. So there would be more of them in a faster time. But I'm going to assume with werewolves that we're not like overrun by werewolves and there's not an actual threat of me being bitten or killed by a werewolf. So, real thoughts on supernatural events. There you go. What's your favorite cereal? Golden Grams. Oh my gosh. I love Golden Grams. I don't eat them very often because they are obviously not the healthiest cereal, but they're so good. Oh, so good. Anyway, um, where did I? Oh, number 10. If there was one thing you could change about fan fiction, what would it be and why? Probably that stigma that I was talking about a second ago. Um, I think people get this impression that fan fiction is all like Twilight and 50 Shades of Grey kind of stuff and like fluffy, smutty weirdness. And that's just not the case. I like to think I write some pretty legit things. I know other people, Kay and Sab, who are here, for example, who write pretty legit stuff. And my cousin writes pretty legit stuff. And it's just not all what people think it is. So that's what I would change. What's a piece of popular writing advice that you always tend to ignore? Outlining, preparing for stories. My cousin Beth, um, who I mentioned a second ago, and she also writes, she plans like hardcore. You're crying in the club. Oh, why are you in the club? It's like 10:30 there, right? Well, anyway, neither here nor there. Anyway, um, oh yeah, so she does like character arcs and timelines and all. Oh. Crying in the club is a saying. I'm so sorry. I guess I'm showing my age a little bit there. Whoops. But, and she has, like, a whole YouTube series on preparing to write a novel, and that's not sorry, now I'm reading, oh, Sav's comments, and it's hilarious. Oh, man. I'm not educated. The 5th graders can only teach me so much. They can only teach me so much. Um, but yeah, story prep is the biggest thing that I ignore and don't do. What's a trope that you wish you wrote more often? Oh, that's hard because I love all of the tropes. I love them all. My favorite one that I would like to write more of, that I guess I do have another story that I recently put on the back burner that has this, but the one I should say you guys are lucky you don't see more often is childhood friends who become more than friends and also enemies to lovers, because I could write those all day, every day. But I don't because the market is saturated as it is. Um, the hardest part about writing Tyler Fix, the hardest part about writing Josh Fix. Oh gosh. The hardest part about writing Tyler Fix, and I'll tell you my concern the first time that I posted something that was Tyler that specifically had a pairing that wasn't like a reader pairing was I want to say it was Open Your Eyes, which is like the crossover with Frank Iero from My Chemical Romance. But anyway, I was just cautioned very heavily that people were gonna like attack me. Excuse me, I've had a little bit of a cold that I'm recovering from, but for not writing Tyler with Jenna. Um, and so every time I don't write Tyler with Jenna, I kind of am like, oh my God, people are gonna hate me. And I start like freaking out. And then I just realized there's a million stories out there where Tyler is not with Jenna. And so you just have to get over it. But that's probably the hardest part is what are people gonna think? And then the hardest part about writing Josh Fix is that I feel this is gonna be such a fangirl thing, but I feel like I can relate to Tyler a little bit more than Josh. Um, and so I worry about writing Josh consistently as far as like characterization. Um, yeah, writing him consistently or even accurately. Obviously, I don't know them in person, but you try not to be too far out of character. Yes. Sorry, my neighbors are moving and it's like catching my eye. Anyway, how do you deal with writer's block? So I used to panic, which seems to be like my go-to for a lot of things. Like I said, I have to panic and then I can make a plan and like kind of force things, or I would work on different projects and then move on from there. And now I just like don't. I don't worry about it. I don't write. I don't force it. There's a saying that actually no, I'm not going to say that, but you just don't want to force something because it's probably going to be crappy. And so now anymore, like recently on all of my blogs, I just haven't felt the muse, I guess. Haven't had the motivation to write. So I just didn't. And I was like, I just have to be okay with that. It is just not gonna happen and it is what it is. So what's your favorite smell? Oh, that's a question. Um, I like a lot of smells. Right now my like summer scent is Waikiki Beach, Waikiki Coconut Beach or something like that from Bath and Body Works, and I don't like coconut. I used to not even like coconut scents, and then when I still lived with my dad, he would burn these coconut candles, and I kinda got into it, and now I do enjoy that. I enjoy appley scents, like, in the fall, but not super cinnamon. Um, that's the body spray I use. I use that lotion and body spray every day. Yes. Scent twins. In case you were wondering, me and Kay smell the same. So if you've smelled Kay, you've basically smelled me. Yeah. um, favorite character from The Last Bandito and why? That's hard. Only because I try. So there's basically five main characters, and then there's like the conference and then the bishops. Um, and we'll probably see one or two more characters in Vulture Generation, but, which I can't believe I'm adding, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. Probably Ildry. Um, she just I love the story that I created for her. Hers was oh gosh, that scared the crap out of me. I got a text message and it came through on my phone and my laptop, and it was really loud. I don't think it needs to be that loud. What was I talking Oh yeah, Ildry. I just really love the story that I created for her and how her story turned out, and hopefully, um, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't read it, but there was a thing with her that wasn't revealed until later in the story, and I tried my best to keep those things very separate, and hopefully that worked out. But it was just really fun writing her. So, best piece of writing advice that you've heard or want to give other people? Don't force it. And I know I already talked about that too. But I think as writers, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, especially when you're posting regularly and then suddenly you don't have anything to post or you don't feel like writing anything to post. And you're like, oh my gosh. And you think people aren't going to be there and you come back and you just kind of feel useless and non productive, but you just can't force it. Um, you just have to let it happen. In fact, this last time I didn't even, like, post anything after I missed the 2 times that I wanted to post, and I didn't. I was like, "You know what? I'll post when I post, I'll write when I write." And the next thing that I wrote after that was at, like, 2 o'clock, 1 to 2 o'clock in the morning, I busted out the next part of Caught on Fire, which is another 21 Pilot series, which there's a new part coming tomorrow. And, it just happens when it happens, and you can't force it, so do you find yourself writing Tyler and Josh pretty consistently across all one shots, or do you tweak them slightly to fix the plot? I do tweak them slightly to fix the plot sometimes, or to fit the plot. Um, just because you kind of have to. I try to keep like this basic skeleton or foundation, I guess, of how I see their character, and then mold the rest of it, build it up for the plot and the story from there. Um, I guess that's more for series, really. In one shots, I try to keep them pretty much the same. Um, I don't think I really have any AU one shots, so it's pretty easy to do. But what part of The Last Bandito was the hardest to write, and what was the easiest? Oh gosh, the hardest part to write about The Last Bandito is all these effing characters that I decided needed to be in there, and keeping their stories straight, and but then also intertwining them. Um, and also some of the like Dima history that I threw in there because I had to fit some pieces myself. Um, yeah, but the easiest part to write was mm, there are several scenes in there, like the opening scene when Tyler's changed to a heathen, and um, the scene with Quinn when she's getting ready to go to Dima and somebody is in her back seat. Scenes like that I had in my head, almost like seeing it like a movie, and so that was a lot easier to write. Overall, what are your feelings about the Tumblr writing community as a whole? As a whole. I mean, writing across 3 different fandoms, I feel like I get to see some different things. Um, as a whole, mm, it's a good question. I feel like there's good parts and bad parts of everything, and that's definitely reflected in the Tumblr writing community. Um, I think trying to word this without being super negative because I don't feel like it's a negative thing. Um, I think a lot of it stems back a little bit to what I was talking about with why there's stigma around fan fiction. Um, because that's the fan fiction that people look for. They want certain pairings, they wanna see certain things in their stories, but those are the only things they wanna see, and so that is the hard part about, um the hard part about the writing community is that if you don't write these specific things, you're not gonna I don't wanna say you're not gonna find success because I think you will, it's just not gonna be how you want to. So, I just saw the time. I feel like I keep glancing at it, and I can be long-winded, so I'm trying to shorten my answers, but what book or movie would you bring on a deserted island? Wow. Okay. Movie, The Fifth Element, because that's my favorite. Book, This Lullaby by Sarah Dessen, because I could also read that every day. Are there any published authors that you try to emulate the style of, or any unpublished authors? No, I don't think so. I usually There are authors that I really like to read and draw, I guess, inspiration from, but I don't feel like I emulate them, like Frank Peretti and Sarah Dessen. Um, I love both of their writing styles, but somebody else just tuned in. I don't know who it is, but hi. Um, and so, um, but I don't try to like sit down and write something. I'm like, I want people to read this and say that it echoes Frank Peretti. Um, but yeah. Let's see. What's your favorite candy? Kit Kats. I love Kit Kats. My favorite. Um, Talk a little bit more about your inspiration for The Last Bandito and its characters. Um, I think oh, sorry. I have the picture somewhere here that originally Beth sent to me, and I is what started everything for The Last Bandito. Let me see if I can find it. But it's a picture, you'll see when you see the picture, but it started out as like um a vampire story actually, and then it kind of evolved and I wanted to bring the Dima lore, I guess, the Dima history into it. But this is the picture. And so it kind of grew from there. And then um I don't think I can express to you guys how cool I think this whole like bandito thing is. Um And so I knew I ooh, sorry, that was a little weird. I knew I wanted to draw from that. Um, and then let me read this question again because I feel like I'm not answering it very well. Okay, so that was the inspiration for the story itself. Started from that picture, and then I wanted to draw in other things. For the characters, I like to when I start big series like that, I like to take people I know and base characters on them. So Phelan, Ildry, and Quinn are all based off of people that I know, and so I kind of get input from those people about what they would want to see in a character, and that's why Phelan writes novels, and that's why Ildry has secrets, and that's why Quinn has more of like an Irish background. Um, yeah. So that is kind of where that came from, and then because I just kind of write as I go, I had these individual characters, and then as I went, like, I had kind of, like, seeds of ideas of how to intertwine them, but it just kinda came together, which is crazy. Oh my gosh, okay. We have 5 questions left, I'm almost done, I promise. This next one I've been waiting for because I was thinking about how I was gonna answer this, and, um it's are there any hints you're willing to give about what's going to happen in Caught on Fire? And so I was just thinking about like what's coming next. And I love alliteration. And the first word that I came up with was dress. And so I was like, okay, what are two other D words or phrases, which could be dangerous because I have a dirty mind. But and so I was sitting there thinking, I was like, dress, drama. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, what's another one?" And then it just came out of my mouth and I was like, "Doing it." So dress, drama, and doing it. That are there's your hints for things that are coming in. Um, things that will be happening in Caught on Fire. What's your favorite sound? Feels like the ocean because it's a pretty chill sound. Sounds are difficult for me. I do like music, but because of my auditory processing disorder, are you gonna come say hi? I know at least one person who wants. There she is. There's that little pickles. She's so pissed off. Say hi, Kay. Say hi. So, fun fact, when I first saw her picture on Facebook, that is exactly the face that she had, and someone was holding her very similar to this, and that's why I picked her because she looked so sassy. You gonna go play? You're gonna go chase birds in the window? Okay, bye. What was I talking about? Oh, my favorite. Yeah, sounds are hard. Yeah, I love her too. And the crazy thing is, I was not a cat person before I got her. I just randomly decided I wanted a kitten, and now she's like the love of my life. But yes, sounds are hard. I have auditory processing disorder, and so I get overwhelmed very quickly with sounds, and I prefer really for there not to not be a lot of sounds. But does anything from your real life ever inspire your one shots? Yes. I've had like bad days, and I'll sit down and write a one shot about the reader having a bad day because it makes me feel better too. Um, I'll hear somebody talking about like a cute thing that their boyfriend or their husband did for them and write that into a story. Um, that's really it, I guess. But what's your favorite pairing to write for supernatural fics? Probably Dean Reader pairing. I'm not crazy about a lot of ships in the supernatural fandom. Picky, what are you doing over there? She thinks she sees something under a blanket. She's attacking it. I don't know. Anyway, um, yeah, I'm not crazy about a lot of ships in the supernatural fandom, so reader pairings are easier. The one that I do enjoy the most writing that's not a reader pairing, wow, I can't talk, is from another series called The Demon's Pet, and I have 2 books I've done of that, and then there's another one that someday I guess I'll finish and post, but, Dean and Zephaniah are the pairing for that, and I really enjoy writing them, and I think it's because there's a lot less romance in it, which is different for me, but it still flows really easily, which is different for me. So, yeah. I think we have like 2 questions left. Let's see. One question. Did anything from your real life inspire parts of The Last Bandito? I don't think so. Except for pulling from people that I know to create the original characters, most of it came from my head, I guess. So, yeah. I did get one question over here in the chat, and I was kind of in the middle of talking, but somebody asked if I have tattoos. I do have tattoos. These are only 2 of them. I have like 20-ish. Um, a lot of them are like torso and back, just because I want them to be easier to hide, if necessary for like professional reasons. So I have some on my wrists, my arm, which you've probably seen. But yeah, so that rounds it out to a nice, even 30 questions. Hopefully, this was somewhat entertaining. I try to be funny sometimes, and I'm not. Um, and I try not to be long winded, but here we are closing in on 35 minutes. So I'm going to wrap this up. But thank you, everyone who stopped by. Hopefully, some of you will get to watch this later and check it out. If you do have more questions that you want included in here, you can send them in. Visit my Patreon page because going forward, these Q&As will be done through there. I have a month to figure it out. Um, and tiers are super inexpensive. My highest tier is $5 a month. So Yeah, it's not expensive at all. It just gives you access to some fic extras across all 3 fandoms that I write for. Um, I think that's everything. So again, thanks for stopping by, K-Sav, and the other person that I don't know, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye. How do I end this? There. Are you sure you wanna end your stream? Yes.